are live.
Hi, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Dell.
And this is the Black Catch-Up, where we're catching up on iconic black movies we missed out on in our more conservative religious childhood.
Alright, so today we watched Bones.
Yes, we did.
Bones.
So, as always, we're going to start off with the IMDb.
Yep.
Over 20 years after his death by a gunshot, Jimmy Brooks comes back as a ghost to wreak revenge on those who killed him and to clean up his neighborhood.
Alright, so kind of start off with things you liked. You want to go ahead?
Yeah, sure.
Give us something you liked.
I like the scene where the Patrick, I believe, or it could have been Bill, one of the main guys.
Like the two
brothers.
Same looking brother. Okay.
Yeah, one of the brothers. He was sleeping, and he had essentially sleep paralysis, and saw the little demons coming at him. I just thought that was really well done. I like the special effects of that scene in particular. As well as the scene where Bianca Lawson's being kind of attacked in her sleep.
Yeah.
Just those sleep attack scenes were pretty good. The effects were very. You could tell that instead of using instead of trying to do weird CGI, they just were okay, everyone, you're going in crazy all black unitards or whatever, and I thought it looked pretty good.
Yeah, so I actually have something similar written down. I thought there were a lot of just really cool shots in the movie.
Yeah.
Almost if you took a screenshot of a lot of parts of this movie, it just made for a really good painting or something like that. And I had both those scenes in mind, as well as there were a couple really good scenes of Snoop Dogg walking through arcs or something. There were a couple of those scenes, and then the last scene was when Snoop Dogg was first coming back to, or no, I think this was actually might have been during. Oh, this was during the tarot reading scene.
Oh,
it kept doing a bunch of flashes.
I loved that.
Her laying in her pool of blood.
In the pool of blood, and then the mom is going into a trance, with the little seance happening.
Yeah, I thought there was a lot of cool shots like that. Her at the table, kind of just rocking her head.
Yeah.
So I thought there was just a lot of really cool moments like that, and just picturesque moments like that. So that was what I had. That was one of the things I had.
I also liked Snoop Dogg's rampage, most of it. Especially I especially liked his attack on Maurice.
Yeah.
The kid who stole his ring. I just really liked it. I just
Yeah.
thought that was a great bang up way to come in, because as you see, as the dog's slowly eating Maurice, you could slowly start to see Snoop Dogg come back to life.
Yeah.
I liked that, and just that was just really good.
Okay, yeah. So I also had just Snoop Dogg in general. I really liked him in this role. I thought he played it pretty well, and I think the whole plot of the movie kind of just was very believable almost.
Oh yeah.
He was a loving guy who just got caught up in something. The whole town loved him. He got killed, and once you get past the whole haunting stuff and things like that, and once you're in that world, it's he's just a guy who wants revenge on everyone who stabbed him. And that's all he did. I don't think he had any unnecessary killings.
He also killed the 2 drug dealers. But that was because I looked it up on Wikipedia. It was because he wanted to clean up his streets.
No, that made sense. That made
so
perfect
it made sense.
Too.
It was nothing that
because again, what he didn't want to do was he didn't want crack to be in his city. And before he died, he said, "Don't sell that in my city."
Yeah.
And so to see them, it made perfect sense why he would kill it. I don't know. So I just thought all of it made sense.
It did.
Yeah, I put it was believable, and his hair looked good too. I thought his hair looked really good.
When he first came back, you'd be like, "Look at that hair."
Yeah, there was that scene where they were shooting him in the chest, and his hair was just blowing in the wind
away
as the bullets passed through. So I like that. Last thing about Snoop, I thought he had a couple good one-liners.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of them, but I thought he had some good ones. So
I don't remember any of them either, but I liked it. I think that his performance and the entire movie as a whole kind of towed that perfect line of cheesy and a proper horror movie.
Yeah.
So it didn't fully take itself too seriously, and it kind of leaned into some of the cheesy one-liners that Snoop had.
Yeah.
But it still was able to produce that gore and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. I will say something that I took note of was the fact that Patrick was very similar to Snoop's character, Jimmy, in a way.
Oh, always trying to hustle and get the next.
No, he was Patrick was the son of the guy. I felt as though he was kind of similar to Snoop in the way that he loved his community and wasn't trying to get out of it.
Yeah, the one who bought the house. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay.
He was just trying to he was like, I don't need more than this. Like, I like this community. Why can't we save this community instead of being like, well, I'm trying my hardest to get out like his father did. Yeah. So I thought there were a few parallels that way, and I took note of that.
And no, definitely, because they were also like that's also the same house Snoop lived in. Like I think that was Snoop's house when he.
It was his little mansion, whatever that was.
The final thing I had that I really liked was the music. Like I thought the Snoop Dogg influences were very heavy. Yeah. You know, of course, and I do like Snoop Dogg like as an artist, so that was nice. But also, I just thought it was like different for a horror movie. Like having that music in the background during like these intense scenes where like he's killing people or like those like suspense scenes, I thought was just like kind of fun. You know, and just made it like a little different, a little more fun. So
I did like that too. The last thing I put was that I enjoyed the fact that my theory of Jimmy never really fully being dead because Cynthia's blood is in him, or Cynthia has his blood, or whatever. I like that was true. In the end,
it was?
Yeah, because in the end he like possesses Cynthia.
You're right. Yeah,
the maggots come out of her, and I was and I think when they first realized that his blood was what was keeping him alive, she was like, "We gotta burn the dress and he'll be gone." And I was like, wouldn't it be great if he just wasn't, because Bianca Lawson is his daughter, so she has his blood.
I'm actually really glad you said that, because I totally missed that. Like, I saw the end and I was like kind of confused, but I was like, all right, I guess that's like it made sense, but I like didn't make that connection didn't happen in my head.
I saw that and I was like.
But okay, that makes
it.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Okay. Next up, any problematic scenes?
Yeah. So I didn't really have anything problematic. I always like write down things I didn't like. Did you have any all I had was I thought the flashback scenes were like kind of just confusing. Like some of them flashed really quickly and rapidly, and so it took very long to understand what was even going on, but I think once it all came together, it was okay. Those things were just confusing and very flash heavy.
The only problematic things I had were there was a weird colorist comment that Bianca Lawson's mom made in the beginning. That was like, "You're too light to have been there," or something or "You're too dark to have been there," or something like that. But I was like, don't say that. And then the dad went on this whole speech about he essentially did that whole poor people are responsible for being poor type thing. And I never liked that.
That was kind of a premise of once you leave a place, they're kind of beneath you. There was he did kind of have that sense of I'm above that now, which you don't really want to have for the place you grew up and for your people. So
So that was all I had for problematic.
Okay. So getting into ratings. This one was hard. So I gave it a 3 out of 5, and that's not because I didn't enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. But I think what took it for me was some of the confusing flashbacks were a little hard to follow what time it was. It also took a little too long to learn more about Jimmy Bones. We were a good halfway at least in the movie when we finally found out how he died and the people he needed to get revenge on. That just took too long for me. And the dog thing wasn't quite explained. You could piece it together, but no one said, and he did this, and I guess I didn't piece it. Where did the dog come from?
Yeah, that's what I don't know. But I read, because I read these on Wikipedia after to make sure I don't miss anything. But apparently that was his spirit manifested, almost his familiar type of thing. So that just wasn't explained, because all of a sudden the dog showed up and it was like, "Don't feed that dog," and I was like, "What?" And then you see him eat things, and then Jimmy gets better, and it's I guess, but how? So in all honesty, I rarely say this about a movie, but this movie could have been longer. This movie was an hour, 36 minutes, I believe. It could have done well with a good 10 more minutes, just to kind of flesh out a few more things, like the dog, or especially the whole city of the dead. That is a very interesting concept that Bianca Lawson mentioned once in the beginning, and we never spoke of again.
Well, no, they went to the City of the Dead maybe 2 minutes.
But they just went there in the finale.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's we kind of needed to have seen maybe bits of the City of the Dead coming out or something. I don't know, but I did enjoy the movie, but it's one of those movies that could have been longer to flesh out some of the little more half-baked premises, because the premises are very strong, actually.
Yeah.
You said, everything he did was realistic in his killings, and, him as a character was realistic, but we just could have, used a little extra time to really, flesh everything out and get there.
Yeah. So, I'll pretty much echo everything you said. I also gave it a 3.
Yeah.
And, I think the biggest thing for me was, it could have Snoop Dogged more.
Yeah.
I almost, felt like once I got Snoop Dogg, the movie was almost over. We got Snoop Dogg for, the last 30 minutes,
We got him so late.
And, again, this movie's, an hour and a half, So, it definitely could have been longer, I would have liked to see Snoop Dogg a lot more, but I did enjoy it, a lot. I just thought it was, really fun, really lighthearted. And, I don't normally like horror movies because, and this movie actually suffers from, my main gripe with most horror movies is that once the main characters make a decision I wouldn't make, you kind of lose me a bit.
Oh, yeah.
And, these kids were just reckless. The main kid, the main brother who bought the house, he feared nothing.
Yeah.
They were just in this house, maggots falling from the ceiling, 8 rats everywhere.
There were so many
And they
rats.
were just no, this is fine. And then they'll, see blood dripping from the ceiling, oh, just a plumbing problem.
Oh, yeah, they said that exactly.
I can't get behind you anymore. Whatever happens to you, happens to you.
I guess it's your fault now.
So, but, yeah, it was very enjoyable, It was just a good experience, But, yeah, I also gave it 3 stars. Could have been longer. Could have had more Snoop Dogg in it. They definitely could have explained the dog.
They could have explained the dog.
The only explanation I give is, Snoop Dogg, you just have him as a dog. That was the only real explanation I could give myself.
In the beginning, you thought Snoop Dogg was actually the dog.
Yeah, just because, again, Snoop Dogg,
They didn't explain it either.
They had to make him a dog, I guess. But, yeah, they could have explained that at least a little bit.
Also, I will say, the fake blood did not look good.
No, not at all.
It was too red.
It looked very painty. Very painty.
I'm not going to say I'm, the biggest horror fan, but I love The Walking Dead, and I do like horror movies more now. I was a little iffy when I was younger, but I do like them now, and the fake blood was not up to par.
No.
It's not up to snuff, no. And sometimes that actually took me out of it. I was like,
ooh,
oh.
Yeah,
I was like, that is paint.
It did. But, I mean, it didn't even matter for me, because they were calling it, plumbing issues, or, one kid called it rust, and I was like, that's literally blood.
That's not what rust is.
To me, it looks like paint, but you want me to believe it's blood. So you calling it rust is just really just taking me out of it, But yeah. Do you wish you saw it earlier?
Yeah, I do. This was an enjoyable time, and I'm also a Snoop Dogg fan, so this is fun to see him in. I also feel as though I would watch this movie again too. I feel as though this is a good movie to watch at a party with friends, where people are still talking, and you can and you're not gonna miss anything.
Kind of.
Yeah, because the plot's easy enough to follow along once you get to the plot.
Yeah,
I kind of wish I'd seen it earlier, just because I enjoyed it.
Okay. For me, it's kind of a strong no.
A strong no?
Yeah, a strong, and not so much that it wasn't a good movie or I didn't like it, but so much that I liked watching it now so much. I don't know if younger me would have appreciated this movie as much, but
that's a good one.
I mean, in my younger days, I hadn't listened to Snoop Dogg, there's just certain things I know now that, I don't think I knew in the past that made me really appreciate this movie, so I think, this was, the perfect time for me to watch this movie.
Cool.
Yeah, this was a good day. Good watching this movie, So,
this was a fun one. I did.
Yeah, it was just a fun movie. It almost gets me excited for horror movies. I was like, I could handle this one, but
yeah,
I don't know. I
feel as though it had to do with the music.
Yeah,
because I once did a project in psych where I changed the music, the background behind a scene, and see if that affects how you view the scene, if you view it as scary or not. And it did affect it.
Yeah.
I can't fully remember the results, but I think it affected it a little bit, especially in horror scenes, more so than happy scenes.
Yeah.
I won't get into this project because this was years ago.
But I mean, if you watch horror movies, you literally kind of just get the same deep organ or whatever it is, that same kind of music in those horror scenes, the same kind of songs to build that suspense.
Yeah.
So it's kind of listening to Snoop rap while suspenseful scenes are happening.
Yeah. That was a fun time.
I guess the one last thing I didn't like about the movie, or not didn't like, but it was kind of annoying me in the beginning, was they did a lot of, unnecessary regular character surprises, like almost like regular character jump scares.
Oh,
like a lot of those. And I was like, there was one where like she walked in the house and was like walking slow, and then the brother comes down the stairs and surprises her, and I'm like, there's no way he made it down that whole spiral staircase right in front of her and did a jump scare. Like, it was just unnecessary, you know. There are a couple more like that, but YouTube housekeeping.
Yep.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Ring the bell. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below, as well as tweet at us, DM us, any of that good stuff. All of our links will be in the description, actually.
Yep. Videos Tuesdays, Fridays, or movie reviews Tuesdays and Fridays.
Yeah.
Are we out?
Yeah, we're out. See you next time to catch up.